We're going to be doing a special birthday beach trip along Florida A1A. Come on, let's go. Alright everyone, today I'm doing another off-scripted highway episode. This one is on Florida Route A1A. The reason I'm doing this highway is because it's my brother's birthday and he actually requested me to do this highway. So I'm doing this video in honor of him for his birthday. The reason why he requested it is because it's known as the Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. So I decided to make a video on it, and this highway looks actually pretty cool to drive on one day. So let's get started. But first, you're watching the Thederphog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button, and if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. And here's the map of Florida Highway A1A, as it is split up into 7 different sections up along the Florida coastline on the Atlantic side. So with that, we're going to be talking about northbound Florida A1A. So we begin here in Key West, where Florida A1A is looking out towards the ocean and towards Cuba. And then there's not really much to this portion of Florida A1A, as it just parallels the ocean with some magnificent views. Here's the ending to Florida Highway A1A, as US 1 will now continue north into mainland Florida here. And then once in the Miami area, Florida A1A starts its second section and will head northeast towards Miami Beach. And then here in Miami Beach, we get another pull through for Florida A1A, and it's still signed for Miami Beach. And then here is downtown Miami Beach, which actually looks like a pretty cool town that I should visit one day. And here's 41st Street, which is, I believe, another Florida State highway, but it will take you over to Interstate 195 and US Highway 27. And if you want to check out my videos on US 27, it's in the top right corner here. Here we meet another Florida State route, and this is for 63rd Street here. And then we're also now meeting Florida Highway 934, and like a common theme on this road, it'll say to Interstate 95. Here we cross over this little causeway that will look out into the Atlantic Ocean here. And then here's the Florida Highway 826, which is one of the toll roads in the Florida area, and it'll take you over to Interstate 95. Here we have meeting another Florida State Highway, Florida 858, and it will also take you over to Interstate 95, while we're now still signed north for Ocean Drive now. Here is Florida Highway 820, I believe in the city of Hollywood. And then here's A1A's second section northern terminus here at US Highway 1 here. And this is where the third section begins for Florida A1A, as they'll be splitting off from US 1. And then right before we get onto the coastline once again, we get a pull through for A1A, and it's signed north for beaches. And here on the coastline, we're still signed for beaches, and we're also getting signed for hotels too. Wow, Florida. Oh, here's downtown Fort Lauderdale, and we also get a couple of flags for the Florida Panthers. Here we meet Florida Highway 844, still in Fort Lauderdale. And then here's a cool Scenic Highway sign for Florida Highway A1A. Here in West Palm Beach, we're meeting with US Highway 98 and Florida Highway 80, and like I said, it'll take you over to both Interstate 95 and US Highway 1. here we are meeting another Florida State Highway, which will take you now both over to Florida's Turnpike and Interstate 95. And then here is the ending to Florida A1A's third section here, as we're now be turning onto US 1 North. And I decided to skip the fourth section entirely because it's literally just one section that goes through a state park, and that's literally it. But this is where the fifth section begins, as Florida A1A is going to be continuing over towards the coast. And then here is a random road out here on the coastline, which will also take you back over to US Highway 1. Here we are meeting Florida Highway 706 here, which will, like all roads, take you back over to US 1 and Interstate 95. And this is the ending to Section 5 of Florida Highway A1A, as it's going to be morphing back into US 1 once again. And this is the start of Section 6, which we start out as a county route here for some reason, but we eventually do get upgraded back to state highway status. Here we are meeting Florida Highway 714, and I believe after this we get state highway status back. And then here's a cool view of the Atlantic Ocean as we're paralleling it for a little bit. And then here is where Florida A1A is actually going to be concurrent with US 1 for a short time, as we're still a scenic highway. And while concurrent with US Highway 1, we actually passed by the Navy SEAL Museum, so that's pretty awesome. And this is where Florida A1A is going to be splitting off from US Highway 1 as it will continue over towards the beach. Here in the outskirts of Melbourne, we're meeting the eastern terminus of US Highway 192, and it will take you back over to Melbourne proper and Interstate 95. Here we are meeting Florida Highway 404, and it'll take you also over to Interstate 95. And then here is a Ron John surf shop, which honestly I've never been to one of these. I'd like to have to check it out. But I have seen people wear their merch or like billboards of this shop, so obviously I have to check it out. And then here is where Florida A1A actually becomes a sort of mini freeway here, and it'll still take you over to the Space Force station, so that's pretty awesome. And this is the ending to Section 6 of Florida Highway A1A, as we're now meeting US 1 signed for Cocoa and Titusville. And this is the start of the final section of Florida Highway A1A, as it will take you east towards the coast. And then here in Daytona Beach, we're meeting with US Highway 92, and it's signed for DeLand. And here is Daytona Beach, and it's also known as the world's most famous beach. And then here is downtown St. Augustine, which is one of the places that my brother would love to visit one day. And then here's where Florida A1A makes this convoluted turn to head back east, as if you take San Carlos Avenue here, it'll take you over to US Highway 1. Also, I want to know the person who created this, or who designed this intersection, because that just looks like a convoluted mess. Here we are meeting Florida Highway 202, which will take you over to Interstate 95 and Jacksonville. And here we have a intersection request. This one was made by Extreme Geography. He wanted to see US Highway 90 because he recently made a US 90 eastbound video, and I recommend going to check that out. It'll be in the top right corner here. Now we're meeting Florida Highway 10, and we're going to be concurrent with it here, as we're now signed for Mayport and Naval Station. And then here is a port that Florida Highway A1A is going to be traveling across a ferry here. And on the other side of that ferry, we're going to be joining with another Florida State Highway, and we're going to be concurrent with it as we head towards US 17 and US Highway 1. Here we are meeting US Highway 17 in Yulee. And then ways up the road, we're now meeting Interstate 95 itself, and it's signed north for Savannah, which is awesome, and south for Jacksonville. And we're now signed for Callahan, which is the terminus of Florida A1A. And here in Callahan, we're meeting with US 123 and 301 at the northern terminus of Florida A1A. So with that, we're going to be turning around and doing southbound Florida A1A. So we begin here on US 123 and 301, and we're now signed for Yulee and Fernanda Beach. Here we are meeting Interstate 95 at this diverging diamond interchange once again, and we're now signed for Fernanda Beach. Here we are meeting US Highway 17 in Yulee. And this is the terminus of Florida Highway 200 as A1As now can continue south towards Jacksonville Beach. Here we are meeting with Florida Highway 10, and we're going to become concurrent with it as we head towards Jacksonville Beach. And here we are meeting US Highway 90 once again, the eastern terminus of US 90. And now we're meeting with Business US Highway 1 at this weird convoluted intersection once again. And this is where we split off from Business US 1 in downtown St. Augustine as we're going to continue back towards the coast. And we're now meeting with Florida Highway 40, which will take you over both Interstate 95 and US 1. And here we are in Daytona Beach again. We're meeting with US Highway 92. And here is the end of the Section 7 of Florida A1A. And this is the start of Section 6 going southbound on Florida Highway A1A as we're now signed for Port Canaveral, Cape Canaveral, and the Space Force Station. Here we are meeting the Ron John Surf Shop place once again in front of this road here. And here's another cool view of one of these towns along the Florida coastline. And here we are meeting Florida Highway 404 once again. And here we meet US Highway 192, and just like last time, it just gets signed west from Melbourne because we're meeting it east of Melbourne. And here is the ending to the Section 6 southbound portion of Florida A1A. And here is the beginning of southbound Section 5, and we're now signed for Beaches. And here's a cool view of the Atlantic Ocean once again, and this time we actually get a little shrub right next to the ocean. Here we are meeting a road that will take you over to US 1 and the Florida's Turnpike once again. And this is the ending to Florida A1A's 5th section going southbound. And here we start at the 3rd section of Florida Highway A1A, and we're now signed for Ocean Boulevard. And here we meet Florida Highway 706 once again. And this is the ending to the 3rd section of Florida Highway A1A. And all the way down here, outside of West Palm Beach, we're going to be starting the section of southbound Florida A1A. And here we meet US 80 and 98. Oh man, FDOT made another goof up. This is supposed to be Florida Highway 80. Because US 80 doesn't end in West Palm Beach, it ends all the way up in Savannah, Georgia. So why does Florida like making all these errors in the Miami, West Palm Beach area? And then here's another road here that will take you over to Interstate 95 and US Highway 1. And here is Hillsborough Boulevard, where we'll take you over to Interstate 95. And then after going through downtown, we're now reuniting with US Highway 1, and we're going to become concurrent with it as we head over to the airport and Interstate 595. And this is where Florida Highway A1A splits off from US Highway 1 here, as we now are heading towards downtown Miami Beach. And right before we get there, Florida A1A is making a sudden turn here, and man, that turn turn sign has seen better days. It's now a completely white shield. Here you are meeting Florida Highway 820, which is signed for Hollywood Boulevard and will take you over to 95 and Florida's Turnpike. And here we are meeting Florida Highway 826, will take you over to US 1 and 95. And we just need to pull through for nothing, because we're in downtown Miami Beach. Here is a picture of Trump Towers here in the Miami Beach area, and those towers are huge. Here is that causeway once again, and this time we get an absolutely stunning view. I had to use this for the thumbnail of the video because it's so awesome. And then here we are meeting Florida Highway 907, still in the Miami Beach area. And here we are reuniting with US Highway 1 right in front of this odd looking ramp 25-mile-an-hour sign. It's like in a different font than what it usually should be. That's strange. And then I jumped all the way down to start at section 1 in the Key West area. And here we have our final reassurance shield of Florida Highway A1A here. And here is Key West International Airport here on Florida Highway A1A. And here's the ending to Florida Highway A1A down here in Key West. So with that, we're going to be moving on to the places I'll go. So these are all the places that I'd visit if I ever was on Florida Highway A1A myself. I'd visit everything, because it just looks like a cool road to visit, and plus like all those beach towns look interesting to me, so I'd like to visit everything along the route. So that ends Florida Highway A1A. Thank you all so much for watching this video on Florida Highway A1A. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about the route, and I hope you enjoyed this little celebration video for my brother's birthday. Personally, I'd love to drive this route one day, as it does look pretty interesting, and I'd also like to visit all the little cool shops along the route. So we'll be continuing with US 27 southbound tomorrow, and after that I'm going to be having a special gimmick video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.